0 atmosphere, 0 pressure, 15 seconds of consciousness before your blood begins to boil at body temperature, because there is nothing pushing back against it anymore. That is Zone 1, the very edge of breathable space, and it is the gentlest way this list ends. Zone 1 is low Earth orbit without a suit, roughly 400 kilometers up, the same shell of space where humans have lived continuously since 2000. The air in your lungs would rush out in seconds. Your saliva would start to boil, not from heat, but from the total absence of pressure holding it together. You would have about 15 seconds of useful consciousness. Rescue, in theory, could still save you inside that window. But that window is already closing faster than most people realize, and the next zone does not give you one at all. Zone 2 is the Van Allen radiation belts, 2 donut-shaped rings of trapped charged particles wrapped around Earth, starting around 1,000 kilometers out. Discovered in 1958, they trap solar particles in Earth's magnetic field like leaves caught in a storm drain that never empties. Passing through quickly inside a shielded craft is survivable. Astronauts have done it during transit, but linger unprotected and radiation sickness sets in within hours, not days. The belts are not a place. They are a filter Earth built for itself, and you are not supposed to stay inside it. The moon looks peaceful from here. It is not. Zone 3 has no atmosphere at all, so daytime surface temperatures reach 127 degrees Celsius, while night drops to negative 173. Without a suit, you would lose consciousness in about 15 seconds, the same vacuum clock as Zone 1. But here, there is no ship nearby, no re-entry, nothing softening the fall, no air, no wind, no sound, ever. But the moon at least has solid ground under your feet. The next zone takes that away and replaces it with something far heavier. Venus is where solid ground stops, meaning safety. Zone 4 sits under a surface pressure 90 times that of Earth, roughly what you would feel a kilometer beneath our oceans, and a surface temperature around 465 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. The clouds above are laced with sulfuric acid. A human body would not last more than a few seconds fully exposed to that pressure and heat combined. If you have made it this far into the dangerous zones, drop a like right now, because Zone 5 turns hostile into something closer to abandoned. Mars looks almost gentle by comparison, and that is exactly the trap. Zone 5 has an atmosphere less than 1% as thick as Earth's, made mostly of carbon dioxide, with average temperatures around negative 63 degrees Celsius. Without a suit, exposed skin and lungs would fail within about 2 minutes, closer to the moon's clock than Earth's. No breathable air, no magnetic field to block radiation, no ozone layer. Mars does not kill you instantly. It simply never lets you exhale. So what happens once you leave planets behind completely and drift into open interplanetary space near the Sun? Zone 6 sits inside Mercury's orbit, close enough that solar radiation intensity climbs past 10 times what Earth receives. Surface temperatures on the sun-facing side of anything unshielded can exceed 400 degrees Celsius. Unprotected exposure here is a matter of seconds, not minutes, cooked from one side while the other stays in freezing shadow. But heat is not the only weapon the outer solar system keeps in reserve, and the next zone trades fire for something far more invisible. Jupiter does not need to touch you to hurt you. Zone 7 is the radiation field surrounding it, powered by the strongest planetary magnetic field in the solar system, roughly 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. Near its moon Io, radiation doses reach levels that would deliver a lethal exposure in under a day, even inside a moderately shielded craft. No impact, no fire, just charged particles tearing through tissue and electronics alike. And that leaves us with the strange middle of nowhere, the long silence between the stars themselves. Interstellar space is where distance itself becomes the danger. Zone 8 is the region between star systems, where temperatures hover around 3 Kelvin, just barely above absolute zero, and where a human without any protection would lose consciousness from vacuum exposure in the same 15 seconds as before, except now rescue is measured in light years, not minutes. No star, no light, no warning. But here is the unsettling part. Even this vast emptiness is not the loneliest thing on this list, because some objects out here do not just kill you passively, they reach for you. A magnetar changes what nearby even means. Zone 9 surrounds a magnetar, a type of neutron star with a magnetic field roughly 1,000 trillion times stronger than Earth's, first identified through soft gamma repeaters in the 1990s. Get within about 1,000 kilometers, and that field is strong enough to rearrange the atoms in your body, distorting molecular structure itself. Survival time there is not measured in minutes. It is closer to zero. But even a magnetar plays by rules that still resemble physics as we understand it, and the next zone does not. This is where things become strange. Zone 10 sits near the event horizon of a black hole, the boundary past which not even light can escape. First captured in a direct image in 2019, with the black hole at the center of galaxy M87, approaching 1, tidal forces stretch your body along its length faster than they compress it, a process scientists call spaghettification. Near a stellar mass black hole, this would happen in a fraction of a second. Near a supermassive one, like Sagittarius A star at the heart of our own galaxy, roughly 4 million times the mass of our Sun, you could theoretically cross the horizon intact before the stretching became fatal, only to find there is no theoretical way back out. But somehow, even this is not the strangest environment on the list. Zone 11 surrounds a star in its final moments, a hypergiant collapsing under its own gravity, releasing more energy in seconds than our Sun will produce in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. The shockwave moves outward at tens of thousands of kilometers per second. Anything nearby is not simply destroyed. It is unmade at the atomic level before the light of the event even finishes traveling outward. No structure survives contact with that shockwave, not because it is unlucky, but because the physics leaves no version of survival on the table. And still, one place remains worse. Zone 12 is not a place at all. It is the deep intergalactic void, the vast near-nothing between galaxy clusters, where the average temperature approaches 2.7 Kelvin, the leftover glow of the universe itself, first measured precisely in the 1960s. Here, distances stretch so far that light from the nearest galaxy takes millions of years to arrive. There is no radiation belt to warn you, no shockwave to end things quickly. Only cold, distance, and time on a scale the human mind was never built to hold. Some physicists study a related possibility called vacuum decay, a theoretical shift in the fundamental fields of the universe that could, in principle, spread outward and rewrite the laws of physics as we know them, silently, with no warning at all. Nobody knows if it is coming. Nobody ever really will, and that is the most honest answer this entire list can offer. You made it through every zone, from a 15-second breath in low orbit to the long cold silence at the edge of everything. If this kind of scale still has you thinking about how small one human body really is against all of it, subscribe before you drift back into normal, breathable, gravity-bound life. There is a full playlist waiting if you are not ready to leave the void just yet. And out there, in the dark spaces between galaxies, something is still waiting to be measured for the first time.